I'm 35 now, and it's as if I have always been hypersensitive to the spiritual or vibrational energy side of life. Sorry this is kind of long, but there was so much. Since high school I was heavy in drugs and alcohol, and hit it very well to the point that I was full functioning, highly drugged up person from morning until I slept at night. I played sports every year, and all throughout the year while still playing it off. It wasn't until I was around 32, 33 that life got crazy. It was right before the pandemic, and I remember crawling on my bedroom floor gasping for air to the point I was freaking out, and all that I remember was having a hard time breathing and gasping until I blacked out. I woke up on my floor hours later feeling empty, and like I was in a long hallway. That's when I began hearing and seeing things daily, and all day. This was literally a few months before the pandemic broke out, before any word of the virus or its name. At that point in life, I had left a long toxic relationship and started coming into a groove, where I began going out again. It was 2019. That year I got roofied 4 times. 4 separate events throughout the year, and I coded twice in one night, a week before my 34th birthday. So that 2 to death and 0 me. I was released out of the hospital, and again there was this empty feeling. It became bigger and overwhelming. So around age 33, 34, I'm working this sick job in a cannabis dispensary in Hawaii. And it was during the beginning phase of the industry in Hawaii. So it was very exciting times. I eventually worked my way into a store manager position for their 3rd location, and that's when things began turning into a full-blown haunting. I lived with my parents at the time. They helped me get my life back together and watched my dog as I worked brutal, soul-killing hours. My mom reveals to me after the entire haunting that in that beginning time the security light outside of my room would stay on, as if someone was standing right outside of my window. She also spotted a male figure standing outside, believing someone was there to point. She went out with a bat, but it was always nothing. And all this happening, and I was so oblivious. I started to become aware when I would go to the bathroom at work, a simple small 5x5 foot bathroom with a sink, a 6-foot tall locker column, and a toilet. I ate a lot, so I had to go to number 2 a lot. And while I was, the faucet to the sink would go off and on rapidly by itself. It was one of those sensor ones, so I thought nothing. Maybe it was broken. It began happening more and more to the point that every time I went in there, it would go off. I began posting it to Instagram stories for fun and proof because no one believed me. One morning I'm getting ready and it's doing it again. So I record and post. One of my coworkers, was more like a sister, comes in and tells me the whole crew to gather around one morning before opening. She had some stuff to tell us. At this point, it's a couple months after opening, and just the water faucet was the biggest anomaly. She begins explaining how her wife saw a dark entity behind me, and to use her words, the entity played with me as if I was a toy. She said she would sit at the window at night watching us leave, as we did every night, at about 7:30 p.m. She gave a stern warning to stop engaging it, because it was not good. We were all interested, but it didn't fully set in until weeks later. The wife literally drew the store's floor plan with specific details in each room, connecting to other ghost stories that our security guards had experienced, but were not made known until this moment. She said, "This dark entity dwells upwards and towards the back of the undeveloped space. A big open empty room with weird mirrors along some of the back walls, totally construction site looking. It was fucking freaky. The wife would come and wait for a couple hours in the parking lot until we finished, because the building was very strict with government regulations on people entering without proper documentation of a valid medical cannabis card. She drew the map one day waiting in the car, having no idea how the store was built, She explained it was like a vision she was getting while sitting out there. The kind that set the energy into an anxious, filled vibration. Plus we were all worked to the bone and drained from it all. There was fear in the air, and the heightened everything quickly. We had a new girl from Tennessee. She began experiencing stuff immediately. One of our first weeks, she asked me if there was anything wrong with the bathroom faucet, and we all looked at each other and said, no, but she knew. One night, we had a late patient come in, and we were helping her on the cells floor together while shutting down. Super casual chit-chat vibe, cause she was a sweet auntie type. We had iPads, which had a stand that it was displayed on showing our menu. We had 3 on the cells floor always, and its stand during open hours. While we're walking to this lady, helping her choose something to help her cannabis needs, one of the iPads flies off the stand and travels about 3 feet. Tennessee and I look at each other with a fearful what the fuck look. The room gets silent as we look at each other, and the woman we were helping looks upwards, and around then asks if we got the building blessed. Sadly, they skipped that process for this building, only because of the delays it took to open, and they just wanted it done. So the answer was no. We told her no. She made her purchase and left right after that. There were 3 of us there, and as soon as she left, we locked up and came back to the sales floor to express our shock like what the fuck just happened? And why did that lady leave like that? Then, boom, the building shakes as there's this huge boom on the roof that vibrates the whole room, and being a manager with 2 freaked out girls with me, I'm like, grab your ish and let's motherfucking go. We ran like it was chasing us. Being the manager, I had to close the building down, so they waited right outside the door as I went and secured the building and set the alarm. We left, shook, and calmed each other, but I know for sure that stuck with them. Security would come and bring supplies to us since we were a few cities away from the main hub. So the guard and I, walking into my office, when we swipe with my card and enter, the sensor doesn't register us, so the lights are off. So she tries to manually press the lights on and nothing. At this point, the hauntings are becoming common knowledge in everyone who frequented there. So we're standing there a little scared and jokingly say, we gotta go out and ask the ghost for the light. She looks at me like I'm dumb. And we leave and close the door. I knock and I ask out loud, yo ghost, can you turn the light on? I swipe my card and we enter. And let there be motherfucking light working normally. She pieced the fuck out so fast, and I was just in awe like, oh shit, this shit's for real. To save some time, I'll summarize the hauntings because the end is fucking nuts, I promise. Lights are going off and on. Now no one wants to use the bathroom in the back undeveloped space during broad daylight. You hear conversations and people walking back there. The dark and empty room. In the highly secured building caught on security camera, we have a light switch physically turning off and on, as well as our iPads flying off its stands. I was having to send coworkers home who got locked in a room with lights turning off and hearing growls because they were scared and getting sick. The speaker system would increase volume until it was maxed out, but it made a beeping noise as it increased, but no one was near it. A noise made when you physically press the volume up and down button. Pounding, knocking, scratching from the walls. Where the empty, undeveloped space was on the other side. The light bulb fell from the bathroom light when I was in there. Unscrews itself and fell into the sink while I was standing at the mirror. We had a locker in the bathroom that would shake and move to the point we found its screws and bolts on the floor every morning. Thinking the locker was going to fall and hurt someone, we moved it to the undeveloped space. And then my friend's wife asked her that day if we moved something, and we said yes. She said not a good idea. She had a dream it fell and hit me, knocking me out in the bathroom. And that ramped up the haunting energy. Apparitions and electrical disturbances on security cameras. Many times, I would have to go back to the store after we closed. Every time I left, I could feel someone watching me. And one morning, we found a face and handprints on the glass, as if someone pressed up on the glass peering out. Once, my bottle flew across the room when we walked away for a second, with footprints in the spilled liquid. Footprints that didn't match any of us. Lights fans, phones burning out around me at home. My mom and I started hearing loud booms in the backyard at 3 a.m. So many others, but I'm just high and my mind is running wild. This was all in a 5-month period to give any more of an idea of how fast it all happened. Okay, last one before the end, because it made it to our coup. One morning, I'm running late for work, and our company communications, we used Slack under my account. Something messages me asking, "Where's Aaron?" in an open channel. At the same time, I'm having a conversation with my assistant, saying I'm on my way now, leaving my home. That day I was delayed when one of my windows jealously cracked and broke. I didn't see the question asking for me until I got into work. I get into work and our IT does their magic and sees that the message was sent from my phone the same time the window broke and while I was messaging my assistant. Now to the end. All during this time, our corporate office was too busy to even entertain a blessing. But after all of that and it physically affecting us, I was able to look for someone to bless it. At that time, we had a kau, or spiritually intuitive teacher healer person, used in our family because she helped detach an entity from my niece, keeping her from asleep and eating to the point she was going to doctors, and she didn't know why. What the fuck? Yeah, so one day before opening, I call her, and I knew. She said, "He's right behind you." I'm on the other side of the lobby wall in an undeveloped area when my friend comes through the door saying she heard a growl, and she feels sick to her stomach. She was right on the other side of the wall from where I was. I have to send her home because she's pale-faced and shook. This Caillou begins telling me that this entity is not good. He was obsessed with watching me and playing with me, hence all of the disturbances. She begins to explain more that he attached his energy to me during our construction build walkthrough. The same time when my mom started seeing that guy outside the backyard and the security light right outside my room constantly getting triggered and staying on at nighttime. The big one was when she explained that he was a child molester and did a lot of horrible things when he was alive, and that he died in the area behind our building by water. Either he drowned or someone drowned him. That was why the water faucet kept going off and on. So I'm floored, but quickly after the events aligned and we finally got blessed and was perfect energy cleanse, which calmed things down completely. Why this is huge is starting around age 6 to 7 until middle school, I was heavily molested while playing sports, to the point it physically was hurting me. Then right before high school, I was drugged. Got hit a few good times, raped, blacked out, and then left me at someone's house. I am so sorry. That was when I lost myself in drugs, having to help with carry on, and having no family to help or even know. Some 20 years later, this haunting was a huge universal event that shook me to begin this huge moment to heal from my trauma, because the life I was living literally killed me a few times. Now I'm 35 and definitely leading a better life, toward healing and sobriety. No longer working there, and life took a complete turn, but for the better. Don't fuck with this universe. This bitch be wild. Girl, I am so sorry you had to go through all of that. I hope you are doing amazing. And yeah, that entity, he saw that at that time of your weakness when you were doing drugs and all that, he thought it was a good time to attach himself. Just stay strong. Alright everyone, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I love y'all so much. Please stay tuned for the next one. But until then, remember, it's scary out there. Like and subscribe.